This episode of Alderamin on the Sky was a much needed episode, especially after coming from last week, where Yutori pretty much broke, and like she calls herself in this episode, she became a sword and nothing else. She had no humanity in that moment, where she was slicing down all the enemies, not showing any remorse, and was going about it in the most brutal way. So coming back to this episode, getting to see Ikta's as well as her past, really shed some light on kind of who she is and why she needs Ikta in order to survive, because if not, she could literally become just a soldier meant to kill, just someone who is that sword who follows orders, because we get to see what kind of life she used to live. You know, her father raised her to be a very noble and honorable person, very polite. She isn't emotional. She does have emotions, just when she's around kids her age, Ikta, you know, mainly, as well as just adults, she's very mature, much too mature in a lot of ways. She doesn't really have kind of her own personality. It's very structured, and you get to see kind of, it's sad in a lot of ways, in all honesty. Now, she isn't like she isn't a human and she can't survive without a man in her life or anything like that, but she is very, very ruthless when it comes to her blades, and Ikta in this episode tells her that I'm going to be your left hand and you'll be the right hand. We have to work together, we have to become one in order to survive this mission, because they have a pack of wolves coming after them, ready to brutally kill them. And there's something with me, when it comes to any sort of fiction, or even in the real world, like, humans dying and things like that, it doesn't, like, strike me as being gross, or like, I don't want to look at this. When it comes to animals, for whatever reason, it's just brutal for me to watch animals die, and I'm not a vegetarian, like, I eat meat, it's just watching it, even in anime, it's kind of gross and it just bothers me, but it was powerful. It was a very powerful scene would be the best way to describe it, because watching them survive going through all these tactics to bring down these wolves who are just trying to survive, in all honesty, the same way we do. Not either side is right for killing one another, it's just a matter of survival, especially with this drought going on in the forest. So watching them kind of work together and kill them, and then at the end we see, you know, it was just a mother and father trying to protect their young one, they let him go. And then there's the whole conversation with Ikta as well as Yutori saying, like, what's going to happen? Well, the leader's wounded, they're probably not going to make it, or they're going to suffer a heavy loss. And I don't know, I just felt like portraying the act of war through animal death and violence really sets the bar of why Ikta is against being a soldier. He doesn't want to just simply kill people to follow orders or anything like that. He wants to be a scientist. He wants to follow in a way that isn't going to make him into a murderer. And even asked Yutori when she was younger to become a scientist with him. So you get a sense of why he is the way he is, especially because at the end of the episode, after this whole incident, Ikta's father gets held prisoner afterwards, and then he disappears, and eventually he does come back to kidnap Yutori to basically free her from this land that is just full of corruption, which we do learn that his father did have to die in order to kind of protect some secret, or just serve some sort of message for the political system, even though he didn't have to die. And I thought just overall, watching the dynamic between the two, a girl who isn't emotionless, she just is very to the point, she follows orders well, with Ikta, a very kind of carefree guy, all about science and not about violence, and using his intelligence, and even watching him kill a wolf, you can see him wanting to throw up from it. It felt very real, felt very natural, and the dynamic between the two was very, very well done, and I have to say, one of the best episodes of Alderamin on the Sky. I don't think it's better than last week or the weeks before, but it was very good at showing us why the characters act the way they do, why Ikta is against violence, why he is against the soldier life, and also show us why Yutori needs Ikta in order to survive, because if he's not around to keep her at bay, she could become just a sword that could be one of the most brutal killing machines out there, and I really enjoyed that. Animation once again on point. I felt sometimes the movements of the mouths were kind of simplistic, there wasn't much variety to it, but overall, very minor con to the episode for an almost perfect episode. So as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? How did you feel about the backstory, especially after coming from last week, seeing just such a broken and cold Yutori? How did you feel about the entire episode? And be sure to hit that like button to show your support, and subscribe if you are new to my channel. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.